There were no other feasts during the week of creation at the time the moon was assigned to mark times of worship. There was only one feast during creation week, the Sabbath of Yahuwah. When the heavens and the earth were created, Yahuwah established the rule, or protocol, for keeping the seventh day as a Sabbath. And Elohim said, "Let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times and for days and years." The lunar-solar system is the established way of Yahuwah for appointed times such as Sabbath to Yahuwah Elohim. One shows their devotion to the deity he worships on the day of worship. Yahuwah emphasized the day that he was to be worshipped. The authentic Sabbath can only be observed according to the calendar of creation, an ancient Hebrew calendar. As with every word opposing Yahuwah's written word, confusion arises. Through careful examination of Scripture, you can learn the truth. The proofs against the lunar Sabbath are incompatible with Scripture in light of Scripture. Let's get started. There were no other feasts during the week of creation, at the time the moon was assigned to mark times of worship. There was only one feast during creation week, the Sabbath of Yahuwah. New moons are associated with annual feasts and seven-day Sabbaths. New moons are tied to seventh-day Sabbaths throughout Scripture. They belong to a distinct class of worship unto themselves. Thus said the Master Yahuwah, "The gate of the inner courtyard facing east is shut for the 6 days of work, but on the Sabbath it is opened, and on the day of the new moon it is opened." Time is continuous, and Sabbath days remain consistent. The days of the week always fall on the same dates in a calendar where the weekly cycle restarts every month. Every week on the 8th, 15th, 22nd and 29th day of the month, the weekly cycle resumes at the new moon and the seventh-day Sabbath of Yahuwah is observed. From Genesis 12 to Exodus 19, there has been an assault on the covenant. Yahuwah, the Creator Elohim, and the fallen Elohims, mighty ones, in the heavens, have been in a worship war since the fall of man in the Garden of Eden. Prophecies depict the battle between two opposing ideologies on the day of worship. "For you have said in your heart, 'Let me go up to the heavens, let me raise my throne above the stars of El, and let me sit in the mount of appointment on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds. Let me be like the Most High.'" The Roman Catholic calendar, a papal calendar used throughout the world today, does not have the seventh-day Sabbath that Yahuwah established in creation. The covenant's provisions for preserving the Sabbath state that every seventh day following the new moon is Yahuwah's Sabbath. A set of issues that have undergone formal mediation and agreement is called a covenant. The covenant's terms are binding if you consent to them. If you decided to stick to half of what you agreed to, that would be violence against the other half of the covenant, which you have chosen not to uphold. This violence makes it clear that you have disregarded the conditions of that covenant. Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction. The fourth beast, the 4th century, brought a lot of losses to the kingdom of Yahuwah Elohim. Many of Yahushua's followers converted to Christianity and ceased to observe Yahuwah's Sabbath per the covenant. The Romans outlawed the Sanhedrin's practice of keeping the lunar-solar calendar to determine the new moon, Sabbath, and annual feast of Yahuwah during the reign of Hillel II, 4th century CE. Thus, Hillel II was compelled to implement his fixed calendar. Judaism worships according to the Roman weekly calendar, not the seventh-day Sabbath of Yahuwah. The 4th century saw the establishment of the current Jewish fixed calendar. Observing the Sabbath is what Yahuwah has mandated. This demonstrates that to keep their covenant oath to Yahuwah Elohim, a set-apart person does not use any other calendars or methods. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, "And you speak to the children of Israel, saying, My Sabbaths you are to guard by all means, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, to know that I, Yahuwah, am setting you apart." The observance of Yahuwah's Sabbath is a sign of the covenant-keeping follower of Messiah, Yahushua. by all means guard his Sabbath.